What's up, world? I'm Cameron McKinney, and this is Pop Culture Spotlight, a podcast about the movie Jurassic World Rebirth. Here's a quick synopsis. Zora Bennett, who runs a number of covert operations, is hired by a pharmaceutical company to get samples from dinosaurs in a forbidden part of the world. The film stars Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, Mahershala Ali, Rupert Friend, Manuel Garcia Rolfo, Luna Blaze, and David Yacono. Standout performances. Scarlett Johansson just became the highest grossing actor of all time at the box office and has become synonymous with giant blockbusters, which is interesting because earlier in her career she was making smaller movies. 2002's Lost in Translation, which I think has become an underrated movie for her performance-wise. It's become the Bill Murray movie. For me, she's equally brilliant. 2004's In Good Company with Dennis Quaid and Topher Grace, a movie I've seen multiple times and enjoyed. 2005's Match Point. If you liked the tennis movie Challengers, I think you'd like Match Point. It's more of a thriller. And 2006's The Prestige, the last Christopher Nolan movie that's small scale. Things changed for Johansson when she became Black Widow for the MCU, and I kind of thought when that was all over, she would go back to just making smaller, more intimate films, which is why I was surprised she was announced as a lead of a Jurassic Park movie, because usually this franchise has not hired established movie stars. Even Chris Pratt was at the beginning of becoming a star because of Guardians of the Galaxy. I immediately became intrigued with Jurassic World Rebirth due to the involvement of Scarlett Johansson. In the movie, she plays Zora Bennett, a loner who is coming off of a job that was emotionally draining. Here's where I'm at with this performance. She does the best with what she is given. I look at these movies that are big idea movies. They are not character studies. Her history of being an action star definitely helps her with a role like this. Scarlett Johansson's next movie is James Gray's Paper Tiger, co-starring Adam Driver and Miles Teller. This is a movie I'm super pumped for. James Gray is one of my favorite directors. I've talked about his movies on this very podcast. I love the idea of Scarlett Johansson being in a James Gray movie, reuniting with her Marriage Story co-star Adam Driver, and for the first time working with Miles Teller. These are three movie stars in a movie made by, in my opinion, a great filmmaker who knows how to get great performances from movie star actresses. I mean, Gwyneth Paltrow is phenomenal in Two Lovers, and Anne Hathaway gives one of her best performances in Armageddon Time. This is a movie I am highly anticipating. Let's get James Gray an Oscar nomination ASAP. Jonathan Bailey was without a doubt one of the bright spots of Wicked, and in my opinion is even better in Jurassic World Rebirth, playing Dr. Henry Loomis. And it all comes down to this. You can tell he had lots of fun making this movie. He understands the kind of popcorn film he's in, and that's rare to find in blockbusters. He's also really good with his scenes with Johansson. He gives, in my opinion, the performance of the movie. What I also liked about it is he didn't feel like a character who had already been in the franchise. He didn't feel like Dr. Malcolm, who was played by Jeff Goldblum, and he didn't feel like Dr. Grant, played by Sam Neill. He felt like a new character. I would also say he's the most noble character the franchise has ever had. None of us come to blockbusters for the performances, but the one given by Jonathan Bailey in Jurassic World Rebirth really stood out for me. Let's be honest, it's been odd talking about Mahershala Ali's career. Recently, the two-time Oscar-winning actor has been attached to play Blade for Marvel for what feels like forever, However, it's crazy that Wesley Snipes returned to the role in Deadpool and Wolverine before Ali even played the part once. In Jurassic World Rebirth, Ali plays Duncan Kincaid, who is an associate of Johansson's Bennett. Ali brings real emotions to the role. My problem is, you're not entirely sure why. He's the one character I just needed more of a backstory for. They set something up that I didn't feel was all that effective. And finally, Rupert Friend is an actor I have been a fan of since seeing him in Homeland. I love the fact that he's become a regular in Wes Anderson movies. I don't have a problem with his performance in Jurassic World Rebirth. I have a problem with the character he's playing, Martin Krebs, a man who works for a pharmaceutical company and is cartoonishly obsessed with money, and this isn't new to this franchise. You had Peter Ludlow in Jurassic Park The Lost World, played by Arliss Howard, and Lewis Dodgson in Jurassic World Dominion, played by Campbell Scott. They just don't have anything new and interesting to say about this type of character. It's the same old song and dance. Other than the involvement of Scarlett Johansson, the thing that got me the most hyped about this movie was the announcement it was going to be directed by Gareth Edwards. Because of the fact that I knew that meant it was going to be a good-looking movie. His filmography includes 3 big blockbusters: 2014's Godzilla, 2016's Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and 2023's The Creator. Say what you will about the quality of each individual movie, I'll go on record and say I like them all. Each one is visually compelling, which is more than you can say for most modern movies that size. Yes, I see all the criticism on the internet saying get this guy a good script and then he could make a great movie. Rogue One, A Star Wars Story is a great movie. I thought The Creator was really interesting. Yes, was I a little bit mixed about how that movie ended? Yes, but I think that movie is more interesting than 99.9% of all blockbusters you see nowadays. I mean this as a huge compliment. This is the type of director who should be making Star Wars movies. He should be making Jurassic Park movies. Marvel or DC should be interested in him making movies for them. He is a blockbuster filmmaker. Yes, these movies are going to be flawed, but he's going to put together an entertaining product and one that looks really good visually. Guys, I get that Steven Spielberg directed the first Jurassic Park, but that caliber of filmmaker is not going to make a movie in this franchise ever again. I truly believe Gareth Edwards is the best you're going to get at this point, and I think that's a victory. I think this is the guy who should be making Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movies, whatever you want to call them. He's the type of director who should be making them, because the great auteur, writer, directors have no interest working in this franchise. Denis Villeneuve is going to make a Bond movie. He's not going to make a Jurassic Park movie. Christopher Nolan is not making a Jurassic Park movie. Ryan Coogler is not making a Jurassic Park movie. Gareth Edwards is making a Jurassic Park movie, and I think that's a good thing. Jurassic World Rebirth is the first Jurassic written by screenwriter David Koepp since The Lost World. He's had a really good 2025, writing 2 Steven Soderbergh movies, Black Bag and Presents, to go along with Rebirth, which I will defend as a good script. I like the direction he took the story. It was meta in that he made a movie where the world is not that interested in dinosaurs anymore, and if you believe the internet, the world is not interested in Jurassic Park movies anymore, which may or may not be entirely true. More on that in a minute. Critics I like have been harsh towards Gareth Edwards, and critics I like have been harsh towards David Koepp. These are the right authors for these movies right now. And both for the same reason. They have history of making big budget movies. David Koepp has a history of writing the original Jurassic Park and Spider-Man, while Edwards has made a Star Wars movie and a Godzilla film. Jurassic World Rebirth has garnered a mixed reaction from audiences and critics alike, and the people who dislike it are the ones comparing it to the original Jurassic Park, which is a masterpiece. No one is arguing with you, and none of the other movies come close to replicating it. But I will defend the franchise by saying this: there are dinosaur movie problems in general. I could make an argument, and I will, that after Jurassic Park, the second best dinosaur movie ever is the Steven Spielberg produced, Don Bluth directed, The Land Before Time. We have just gotten to a place where the standard for these movies are too high. I don't go to them for a great movie. I just want a fun dinosaur movie, and that's what I've been given for the most part. You get that in Rebirth again, and you get a good-looking movie as well. Jurassic Park is widely regarded as one of the best movies of all time, and rightfully so, but the franchise in general is never going to get back to that, and that's what people have to realize. And I don't think that because of that fact that it shouldn't exist altogether. That's what the feeling is to me. Like, the consensus is you either get back to that or don't make another movie at all. And I just think that's ridiculous. Yes, at times when you're watching these movies, does it feel like they're just doing the same thing over and over again? Yes, there has been some franchise fatigue I have felt with the Jurassic Park movies. But then there are other times where I feel like they have been pretty fun and entertaining and better than other franchises that don't get as much slack as this one does. And it's because the first entry of this franchise was directed by Steven Spielberg and starred Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, and Laura Dern. I don't know, I wished people had a more relaxed reaction to this franchise, like the way they do with the Fast and Furious movies. Like, it feels like that franchise can keep going and nobody's going to be bothered by it. And the difference is that franchise doesn't have a movie like the original Jurassic Park, which is most people's golden standard for blockbusters. That's the problem that this franchise has, is that the original is so good and none of the other movies have come even close to duplicating that success. I don't have a fatigue towards these movies. I have a fatigue towards the way we talk about them. That's why I want there to be a great new Jurassic Park movie, because I want critics to shut up and stop talking about it. Like, it's just this never-ending thing when a new one comes out. Well, this isn't it. This isn't like the original Jurassic Park. No, I wasn't expecting it to be. That's the problem. No one is expecting these movies to be as good as the original Jurassic Park. Some of us are just going for the entertainment aspect of it. I'm just being honest. If they're going to continue to make movies like Jurassic World Rebirth that are good looking and entertaining, I'm going to continue to enjoy them. I don't care if they make another movie as good as Jurassic Park, because deep down, I know that's not even possible. There's not a Steven Spielberg out there that wants to make that movie. Clearly there isn't, or they would hire him. The other thing about this franchise is they get dinged when they do the same thing over and over again, but when they make a crazy bonkers decision and take a left turn, they also get criticized for it. There is almost no winning when it comes to these movies, critics-wise. Like, no one is ever going to agree that they've made another great Jurassic Park movie. So I think we should just enjoy them while they last, and I think they're going to continue to last because people are seeing these movies at a high rate. That gets us to the box office. So like I was saying earlier, the internet would have you believe everyone wants them to stop making these movies, but the box office numbers say otherwise. So far, Jurassic World Rebirth has already made $537 million, sixth highest grossing movie of the year. To put it in perspective, it's made more money than both Marvel movies, released this year. I know there's been some talk of diminishing returns. Jurassic World Dominion did make over $1 billion, which might not happen for Rebirth, but make no mistake, it's still a viable franchise. I'm coming to the defense of the Jurassic Park and the Jurassic World movies because I feel like we are treating this franchise like it's the Transformer movies, the ones that were made by Michael Bay. Like they had a promising start and then those movies started to get really old really fast. I don't feel like that's where we're at with Jurassic Park. I think these movies are still fun to watch. It's fun to see different actors in them. I like the fact that Chris Pratt was in 3 Jurassic World movies. I like the idea of Scarlett Johansson being in a possible sequel to this movie. I do feel like I give the franchise some leeway because it is hard to navigate where to go with this plot. Like it is a hard franchise to branch out movie to movie. But the flaws I see in this movie are the same flaws I see in almost every blockbuster made today, but I'm willing to forgive it because this movie is better looking than almost all of those other films. Like, did I love the innocent family that became involved in the story? No. Did I like the annoying boyfriend character? Absolutely not. But you can forgive it because that's what you see in most blockbusters. They're trying to be a 4-quadrant movie to please everyone, so you're not going to get something that's going to completely blow you away. Unless it was made by the likes of Steven Spielberg. That's where all of the criticism of this franchise comes from. It stems from the fact that the first movie was made by the best director at the time, who also just happened to make the best blockbusters of all time. I do think that's something really interesting to think about, though, that the great blockbuster filmmakers of right now seemingly have no interest making a Jurassic Park movie, and I don't really know why that is. Is it because they're not all that interested in dinosaurs? Is it because they don't want to go up against the original Jurassic Park? I don't even know if the Jon Favreaus of the world or the J.J. Abrams want to make a Jurassic Park movie, and I find that to be so interesting. Like, why don't these guys want to make a movie in this franchise? I think the moral of the story here is there's never been a filmmaker like Steven Spielberg, and there will never be another one again. And I'll never understand the criticism of Gareth Edwards. I think he's a fine director. Again, I think the strength of his movies are the visual aspects of them. Maybe he doesn't make the movies with the best scripts possible, but he makes really entertaining movies, and some of them are really interesting as well. Like, I think The Creator, I'll admit, is more interesting than Jurassic World Rebirth. But he is the kind of director who should be at the helm of a movie like this, and I'm glad he made this movie. I think it works. For me, it's a good, not great blockbuster. My expectations for it were not super high. I wasn't expecting a masterpiece. I wasn't expecting one of the best movies of the year. I was expecting more or less what I've been given over the last decade or so when it comes to the Jurassic World movies, which is a fun, entertaining spectacle. If I had any critique of these movies plot-wise, it would be they have clearly no idea how they would end any of these stories. Okay, you had this island, this billionaire brought dinosaurs back, then what happens after that? What ultimately ends up happening between the relationship of humans and dinosaurs? Clearly, these movies have absolutely no idea where to go in the end. I mean, in one movie it ends and the dinosaurs are seemingly running free with the rest of us, and then in the next movie they've also just gone on an island again been ignored by humans. I can see what this movie is, flaws and all, and I understand where some of the criticism is coming from. I don't understand the overly critical responses I've seen to this movie, like calling it one of the worst blockbusters of the year, calling it dull. It's fair to call this movie mid or average. I think it's unfair to call this movie bad. I think it is a good movie, and I think people's hatred towards it comes from their love of the original Jurassic Park, which should not impact how you feel about the movie Jurassic World Rebirth. Let this movie be its own thing. I don't think it's just replicating that movie. I do think it's trying some new things, and I had a good time watching it, and I think most people do. I don't think the negative reaction is the majority. I do think more people are on my side, that it's good, not great. That's a fair reaction to have after watching this film. Thanks for listening to this edition of Pop Culture Spotlight. I'm Cameron McKinney, and there'll be a new episode of the podcast every Thursday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I recommend you check out Jurassic World Rebirth. Next week on the podcast, I'm talking about James Gunn's Superman, starring David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult. So tune into that, and please rate, review, and subscribe.